In this video, I'm going to share to you the three hard truths that I've learned from procrastination. Now, I've been into personal development for quite long. I've read a lot of books, listened to podcasts, watched thousands of YouTube videos, and really tried building healthy habits. And you might say, well, it should be easier for me to make plans, set goals, follow through, and achieve them, right? Yes, it's easier if you learn from your mistakes, you did your best to apply the wisdoms or learnings that you've learned. That really helps. But sometimes reality kicks in, and sometimes actually it gets difficult, so difficult that you feel you're out of the process. You feel that you've been taken out of the personal development journey. And to the point that it's so hard to start again. It's so hard to put yourself back into the path of bettering yourself or even just feeling better. But as someone said, no storm lasts forever. Of course, unless we created our own storms. And that will lead us to the first lesson that I've learned in procrastinating for more than a month. By the way, my name is Art, and I felt like I've wasted a lot of time for that whole month, especially when you made plans and you didn't follow through. It's a different kind of pain. It's very difficult, especially when you have the sense of self awareness, when you know that you are letting yourself down. There's a lingering feeling of guilt, shame, and betrayal. But I realized that even though it's painful, I realized that I can actually stay here longer. I can choose to stay here and actually even go further down on this downward spiral pattern of self sabotage. That's the first lesson. We can always make things worse. This is not an excuse or a validation or justification to our self hate. This is a call for self awareness. This is a call for awareness of our own demons and dragons. The small, poor choices that we are making or that we make in our daily life is like tiny holes in the foundation of the thing that we're trying to build. It doesn't destroy the structure right away, but over time it will because it weakens and poor the quality of our work. Realizing that we have the ability or we are capable of ruining our own life, our own work, it made me realize more that being conscious in our daily decisions will help us or will save us from unnecessary sufferings. As Jordan Peterson said, it is indeed that hell is a bottomless pit because we can always make things worse. But why it seems harder to make things better, right? Well, lesson number two, everything is moving towards chaos. Almost anything that's left alone ignored, neglected in enough period of time often goes bad, and that is applicable to again almost anything: your health, muscles, skills, things, foods, relationships, anything. And again, this is not a pessimism. This is reality. The world around us evolves, and it will keep on evolving. This is not to feel hopeless, but instead, it's actually quite the opposite, because we can actually make conscious decision to participate to that evolution. The only constant thing in this world is change, and we are all moving towards our death. People die. You will die, I will die, our loved ones will die. That's just the reality. So while you're still here, it's either we are growing or we're just dying. I remember it was 2024 November. I was lost. I feel like I'm a mess, undisciplined, unfocused. I was really distracted, but also entertained with the people who do calisthenics, especially the tricks in calisthenics in social media. And out of impulse, I bought a pull up station, and that cost me a reasonable amount that you don't want to waste. I'm not a wealthy, I'm not rich, you know. It also takes up space in my room. But I'm excited to have that. And when it arrived, I remember thinking, oh, I'm feeling excited, but if I don't do anything with this feeling, eventually, this very thing that I'm excited about will be something that I will hate, because I might start just, for example, piling up dirty or worn clothes to that pull-up station, and that will be its use. And that would be really a waste of money and a waste of space. That would be that will clutter my room. And instead of helping me be a better person, my impulse of buying that thing actually will make me feel bad. And again, if that happens, yes, I will feel bad. I will feel shame and guilt for buying that thing. So therefore, I decided to commit on learning how to do pull-ups. Again, I bought it. I don't know how to do a pull-up. I haven't working out for almost a year or more than a year. And I was excited and dedicated. So I do my research. I adjust my schedule. I've set goals. I've um track my macros. I even bought another equipment that actually also cost me a reasonable amount that I don't want to waste. Another equipment to practice the progression that I need and able to do the proper pull up. I was dedicated, and I had a plan that time. But being consistent, doing the thing, same thing again and again every day, without or with little progress or visible, close to zero visible progress, that excitement fades away. And I stopped working out for weeks. And I remember the feeling of shame and guilt creeps in. And that's the motivation, right? That's the initial motivation. I'm gonna commit to this to not shame myself for being impulsive for buying this thing. But that happened because I stopped. I procrastinate. Then I realize, until I realize something that's very simple. It doesn't need an explanation. So simple. And it is nothing will work if I don't. Nothing will work if I don't. I thought I had everything. I had a plan. I had did my research. I fixed my schedule. Bought other equipments. I've tracked my progress. But being into fitness, it doesn't happen that fast. Especially I don't have a coach. I thought I got everything, and then I realized that I don't. And lesson learned again, nothing will work if I don't. So I try to get back into it and didn't stop even if I'm feeling that I'm actually regressing or there's no progress at all. I kept going. Couple months after, I did my first ever pull up, and that feels amazing. I feel like there's a shift inside me. You know, having that pride moment from feeling lost, messed up, doesn't have a plan, to overcoming a challenging journey and achieving something that felt impossible. I mean, if you haven't done pull up and you tried doing it, that felt impossible. That felt like something shift inside me, and I felt like a different person. Actually, a better one. I'm not lost anymore. Having that pride moment, I've become more intentional on the decisions that I make. Even though I have a lot of truck, I feel like I still have that plate or that something in me that I can always go back there because I have a proof that I can always get up when it's hard, when I face a setback. So that actually give me like a boost or give me like an extra power in facing or going through difficult times. Order is the opposite of chaos, but sometimes it doesn't start with order. Again, I bought the pull up station out of impulse. I don't have a plan. When I bought it, I just discovered that, oh, I need to commit this thing now because I don't want to feel worse. Again, I can choose not to commit and make things worse. First lesson, but it's just that I'm aware. It's the first step. I'm aware that I'm gonna feel guilt and shame, and I don't want that. So I decided to make the harder decision, which is to commit. So it turns out that I've been recording without a mic. It was muted. So back to what I'm saying, I chose the harder decision, which is to commit. It's easier to stay in the audience seat and overthink of all the things that we want to do than to start wherever you are, commit, even though if you're uncertain or not sure if you're doing the thing right. But the latter always feel even just a little bit better. It is because by doing the latter, we are actually taking back the control in our life, making conscious decisions without overthinking things, taking responsibility, even though it means choosing the hard or harder work. Because Easy choices often leads to bad habits. Bad habits often leads to bad life because everything is moving towards chaos. So, in order to live a happier and fulfilling life, we must actively engage, not only to set some order in this chaotic experience, but also to grow in it. Seize the opportunity of growth whenever you need to make a decision. But again, as I said before, often, or if not always, growth is not easy. It is painful, right? So, if we're gonna die, if we're all going to die, if we're going to suffer and be in pain without doing anything, why should we choose to extract extra effort to suffer or to be in pain for growth? That is the third lesson, which is your life is not yours. Your life is not yours. Our life is not ours. Yes, we do have a level of freedom. We can choose what we want or what we will do in some time. We can choose who the people that we would like to engage with. But we cannot always do everything that we want with anyone and anytime just because. For example, the child and parent relationship. Children doesn't just listen to what we're saying. They are always watching us. We also learned from watching our parents. We learned from how they made us feel and also how they live their life. It's a psychological fact that we adapt, we learned from the behaviors that we are seeing or that were being presented to us when we were a child. In the early age, we were like a sponge. We gather a lot of information, a lot of signals. So fast, we learn so fast because our brain needs to set beliefs and patterns in order to survive and to make sure that we are functioning well in the society. Because that's how we survive. That's what its function or mode. Your brain is made not to make you successful. Your brain's goal is not to make you happier. The main goal of your brain is to make sure that you'll survive so that you will reproduce. But most of the people doesn't like or even hate their parents or their caregivers or their guardians or whoever took care of them as a child. But they still did adapt their behavior. So they act like them, even though they dislike them. And therefore, they grew up hating themselves. That's why it's very important to take responsibility of your growth. As technology advances, there are a lot of information made available for us. It's a good thing, but the downside is it's actually can make us feel more overwhelmed. We can search anything that we would like to know, almost anything at least. but that can lead to information overload. So instead of processing the information that we've taken, since there's a lot of information available to us, we consume and consume and consume until we become constipated. And that's the reason why you should not consume anything that is presented to you. You need to take responsibility of your growth, of the information that you're consuming. It is more important now than ever before. Be conscious, set intentions to your actions, especially to the person who you are becoming. Whether you like it or not, whether you feel it or not, we coexist with other humans. You are a part of your family, you are a part of a society, you are a part of a community. Whether you see it, you feel it, you like it or not, doesn't matter. You are a part of this world. Your existence has an influence and impact on the people around you. It might not be in a big life changing way, but you matter. So, to wrap it up, the three hard truths that I've learned from procrastinating are: first, we can always make things worse endlessly. We are capable of ruining our own life, so we must be aware of the decisions that we're making or choosing, because our demons and dragons are always lurking there. Second, everything or anything is moving naturally towards chaos. Not making a decision is a decision. Not taking a risk is a risk. Live passively and you will wait for your whole life to feel alive. Live actively and you will feel alive and fulfilled while still in the journey. Third, your life is not yours. We let other people down when we let ourselves down. We never know who's watching us. We never know who's learning from our actions. That's why it's very important again and again and again to be conscious and be aware and to take control of the person who we are becoming. Again, this is Art, and I would like again just to remind you, do what you need to do. Don't let comfort and complacency take over your life, and be responsible.